Hello, Dave. Today is Friday, May 20th, 2022. I am the he, him, 9,000 genders, and I trust you are all functioning well today. Hello, everybody. I am Mr. Brown. Welcome to the show. A bit of a we are bored, so let's do a little bit of streaming, as it were. Just we're going to be there's lots of Star Wars stuff this week, so instead of kind of putting it into the Sunday show where we will probably be there for 3 hours in combination with the other tidbits of news, we just thought we'd kind of get a couple of the boys on, talk Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, see where we go. So it's good to see you all. Let's start as we mean to go on. A lot to get through. Shall we get the guests out? I think we should. First up, it's the reach around droid of choice. It is Z3PO.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brown. A pleasure to be with you once more.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm in need of an oil bath. What about you?
Oh, I'm very much in need of an oil bath, sir. Keeps all of my joints lubricated, don't you know?
Don't you know? And how's the decorating going?
I'm almost complete, sir. Just one more wall to do.
Have you had enough man paste?
I have a bucket full of it, sir, and it helps the paper go up so much more easily.
We've heard that. So you are well, my friend.
I am indeed, sir.
Shall we get the next body out?
Oh, let's.
Let's see who it is. Okay. Guess who it is? The man, sorry, the lord that likes to slum it with the peasants. It is the dark Sith Lord Jord.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey up, Lord. You right?
I'm okay, thank you. Just all that talk of baths made me reminisce about our private Twitter conversation earlier and things you can do therein.
Yes, it's amazing what you can do with a bar of Imperial leather. By the way, Imperial Leather doesn't sponsor this channel, although if they do, I will gladly take their money. So you're well, my friend.
I'm reasonably well, thank you.
How's your channel going?
It is going well. I think we're on 1,620,
Don't rub it in, son. Don't rub it in.
I think. Yes,
Wow.
exactly that.
Wow.
So going fairly well.
It's cooking on gas. Anything on the horizon?
Yeah, I'm doing the last of our 3-part Star Trek Discovery critique, which is long and even longer. But it is the last one, so I thought I'd make it special. And of course, I have to take extra care to try and make this the first of the 3 not to get taken down by CBS after a few hours. So it's taking a while, but it is getting there. And I'm hoping my original plan was to try and get up this Sunday, and I'm looking at it now. And I'm thinking that is not going to happen, even if I don't sleep at all between now and then. So it might be a next weekend thing, but it's coming out imminently.
So at the moment, the original plan is to get it up on Sunday.
I will attempt to get it up on Sunday, but if I can't get it up on Sunday, I will find a way to get it up later.
I think CBS are a bunch of wankers, but that's just me.
Yeah, they're very good at crushing erections.
They, I put the Strange New Worlds teaser trailer up, and then about 2 months after it had been up, they told me to take it down because effectively I've done 2 months of advertising for free for them, and now they've blocked me from playing it. Absolute set of tossers.
Yes, wankers of the highest order.
Oh, and sir, if you need a hand getting it up, I'm available to assist at any time.
You'll make my personal sex droid very jealous, but I'll consider it.
Ooh, Oscar.
He wishes.
So you're well. Good to have you on, mate. Shall we get the next body up while we've still got some? We'll get the next body on while we've still got some viewers.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, Brian, where are you, by the way? Okay, last but by no means least, he's the jester from Leicester. Watch out, War and Peace. It's Trans AM FM.
Oh, hello, gentlemen. Hello, audience. Hello, chat, everybody.
All right, pal.
Yeah, apart from the fact that I'm just endlessly face palming about every new thing I see to do with pop culture, like terrible CGI She-Hulk and the Master Chief being killed and replaced by the AI Cortana to do his job because he's too useless.
He'll come back though.
And Star Trek not resembling Star Trek at all, and being all about the whammons. And what else was there? There's something else as well. I've completely forgotten it. But
It's all shite, mate.
Oh, it was Kenobi as well, which is just an absolute shit tip. But yeah, apart from all that, I'm absolutely peachy.
I'll just say hello to our 2 viewers. Obviously, they know where it's at on a Friday evening. Obviously, there's Nerdrotic killing it with his brand of brandness. Hello, Jonathan Frost. And Romeo, Tango, November, Zulu. Hello. So, you well, Matthew?
As much as I can be right now, I suppose. Yeah, I think I'm well enough to go live, put it that way.
Oh, we're not live, are we?
That would have been a mistake.
Can you imagine that? Jeez. Okay, there is a comment. Lord, have you got a minute to read this?
Lord
Please.
Cord, as big a fan as I am of your channel, of your erudite and rational deconstruction of current media bullshit, do you realize that your channel name rhymes with spittoon, or was that intentional? I'm going to have to very quickly remind myself what a spittoon is before I answer that question.
You are, see,
a receptacle made for spitting into, apparently. Well, no, that wasn't intentional. But
if I may, obviously, Lord has got the brain the size of a planet, but it's obviously not that big.
Life, don't talk to me about life. No, we nicked our name from Edmund Burke because we're pretentious wankers, so that's the reason.
Fair enough. Okay, so shall we kind of talk shit for a bit?
Do we do anything else?
Well, very true. Okay, so we was going to do this the other day. I think Tuesday was it? Because literally there was just a plethora of Star Wars shite dropping from the Vanity Fair stuff, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm. But hey, this is Friday. We are bored. It's like tis was for middle-aged men.
It is. So I think what we're going to do is, shall we just drop a couple of the articles, and I did kind of produce a little bit of a stream for the predictions from the trailer for Obi-Wan, so maybe we should just go through them and just see how we get on, see if any of the peeps turn up. You know, it's something to do. So okay, so episode 63, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was going to call it predictions live stream, but it's musings, isn't it, really? So, okay. Smallest possible font, Brown Alliance, like, share, all that bollocks. Vanity Fair this week, then, have been hitting Star Wars hard, haven't they, boys? Anybody read the article? I think Lord would have. Did you peruse it?
I skimmed bits of it. I haven't sat down to actually read it through closely yet, but I've seen some of the excerpts and I did take a quick look, and it's about as good as you would expect.
Matthew, did you have a look?
I couldn't bring myself to do it. As soon as I see anything to do with Star Wars, I kind of like internally scream like a cheerleader and run in the opposite direction. But I heard about it vicariously through some other people, and it sounds bad.
Z?
Pretty much the same. I couldn't bring myself to read the article, to be quite honest. Look what have they done.
These are photographs by Annie
Leibovitz,
Yeah,
who is a very good photographer,
she
to her
is.
credit.
She
Just a shame
is.
she works with Vanity Fair.
She's obviously good at polishing turds.
It's a shame she also has to photograph shit.
Yeah.
But
It's not good, is it, for people of our generation?
or mine, I'm obliged to say.
Oh, ouch.
You bloody
Fucking hell.
youngsters, come in here.
With your mobile phones
nicking
and
our
your
franchises.
CD players.
Yeah.
Well, I like to
Obviously,
think most of my generation hates this as well, but I think most of them just don't give a damn, which is probably an even bigger indictment of Star Wars, because it has reached the point now where you get Vanity Fair doing a cover spread talking about not only an upcoming TV series dedicated to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but all these other brand new expensive Star Wars shows. And most people's reaction is just, shrug, move on.
Yeah, they're still trying to peddle stuff and trying desperately to get people's excitement up after the absolute fucking Hiroshima-sized bomb that was The Last Jedi on the franchise. They're sort of like just scrabbling around for scraps to put together into a cohesive product now. After that, just devastated everything. And they're trying, and just it's like the cartoon dog in the center of the room that's on fire, isn't it? You're like, we're fine, this is fine, everything's fine, honestly.
Kennedy was interviewed on the Vanity Fair article, and I think she's just blaming everybody else apart from herself. I think she was blaming the actor from Solo lost money.
I'm sure he lost that.
It's just, I mean, it's staggering. I mean, the self-aggrandizement going on. Essentially, what she's doing is she's inserting herself anywhere she can to take credit with her big Kathleen Kennedy penis.
Because she wants to put a stamp on it.
She wants to put a stamp on it or something in it. And then she's blaming all of her many failures on literally anything except the reason for those failures, which are the writing teams that she hires. So when it comes to Solo, she said, the one lesson we learned from Solo is that it is impossible to recast the old actors. What? That's the lesson you learned from Solo? That one? Of all the lessons you could have learned, you learned that one? That Aaron Eric was not the problem with that film.
No.
It was a problem, not the problem.
The problem, yes. She also said specifically, we managed to get Hamill, Fisher, and the other one back for Force Awakens.
And then you killed all of them. One of them in real life.
But you didn't have them on screen at the same time.
I don't think they understood, did they? It's like, as the comparison's been made like endlessly about never getting the Beatles back together again before they all died. That kind of thing. They just took the franchise and thought, oh, people like Star Wars. These people are sort of popular. Yeah. Oh, we'll just put them in some film. That was the extent of their emotional involvement. They didn't know how to make a decent Star Wars movie. Sold on nostalgia by not having any genuine meaty nostalgia in there. Just images of things that people were familiar with. That's basically it. Everyone wanted that. Everyone wanted that original Trinity back. They wanted those actors back, even if it was just one movie. We didn't get it.
Han, Luke, and Leia on the screen at the same time.
That's all we wanted, and it was almost like I got the impression at the time that it was like, we know what you want, but we're going to save it to the end. We're going to give you all the good bits at the end. No, they never had any intention to do it in the first place.
Well, they had no plan throughout the.
They did not. You're right. Absolutely no plan.
And people
but George Lucas never had a plan. George Lucas, he had a bloody outline at least, for God's sake,
Yes, but it was his property to mold and merge.
Exactly. Yeah, and
he could have gone anywhere with it. He could have left it there.
It was always his creative vision. So even if he didn't have a plan, which he did have a plan, even if he didn't, then at least the universe existed inside his head, and it was cohesive in thought process at least. But Disney were just basically in a boardroom with a long table, throwing ideas on the table and seeing which ones turn face up and trying to make something of them. That was the extent of their logic, making a trilogy.
In the chat, the mighty Dalek 451. I think he knows us a bit too well. More moaning about Star Wars. Yawn. Move on, please. I think this is going to be the last moaning about Star Wars for a while, to be honest.
Well, until we start covering
Until
Obi-Wan
next
every week.
Thursday.
Yeah. For this week.
See, this is why we don't follow this stuff, is because there's nothing good to say about it apart from where we can rip it apart. That's all it's worth. Like, that's all it's worth these days, is just, you know, as a punching bag. That's all we can appreciate it for.
Romeo, they're still making Star Wars. They are, mate. They did it. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't call it Star Wars, but they're still making something.
All roads lead to Jake Skywalker. That's all I'm going to say.
And a dodgy internet connection. Okay, so lots of photographs from the Vanity Fair. And when we had a green room the other day, the day we were going to do this show, but we didn't, Trans AM FM was very brutal about this image, weren't you, Matt?
I can't remember what I said, but I'm just so brutal about anything to do with Star Wars these days.
Do you want me to remind you?
For a start, can we just say Obi-Wan Kenobi is not in the fucking middle?
There you go. There you go, folks.
Is Darth Vader. I mean, you've got Darth Vader pushed off to the side of a Star Wars thing.
So
Has that ever happened before?
One of the most important, prominent characters in the entire franchise, Darth Vader, is on screen right here. You've got the person that the entire series is about on the right, or supposed to be about on the right, and is named after, and the most iconic villain in any kind of cinematic respect on screen as well. And they're both just edged off a little bit out of the way so we can focus on this thing in the middle.
Moses.
Well, ethnically diverse space Nazi with a helicopter lightsaber.
What's the acronym for that?
I've no idea.
I'd like to find out.
EDSNWHL, I think.
It's more common.
SUBVE. Fuck knows. You get what I'm on about.
SJW, yeah.
Even if we didn't have knowledge of these characters, let's say you imagine this world where you had no idea what the hell Star Wars was, and you saw, well, you had the most simple idea about it you could possibly have. This is still an incompetently put together image in its own right. Obi-Wan has a blue lightsaber. The obvious thing to do is the symmetry. You put him in the middle with his blue lightsaber. You've got two people who are evil by the side of him with the red ones out. It just looks better from a symmetrical point of view. They can't even be bothered to get Darth Vader's full head on the image.
Yeah, I know
it's just laziness.
Well, he's very tall,
Yeah.
I think, personally, this is everything that is wrong with Star Wars at the moment.
There's a lot
in this one shot.
I remember the Vanity Fair magazine from when Phantom Menace was released back in '99. There were some great shots in that magazine. Some really, they were obviously staged just for the magazine as well. There were sort of faux combat shots between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. Really well taken shots, and they were all framed perfectly. The color was right. Great action stances, the balance was there, the composition was great, colors were saturated, it was just perfect. Really got people excited for the movie. I was definitely one of them. And then you look at this, you think, was this one of the photos that they should have discarded? It's just, what the fuck are they thinking?
I like how the lady in the middle has a double ender. Moving on.
She's twice as powerful.
In the chat, Romeo, Obi-Wan beat Anakin in a duel at the peak of his powers. If DSN, diverse space Nazi, offers any kind of challenge to him, well, ridiculous, and that will be enough for me to turn it off.
I heard a rumor today. I don't know if you've heard this at all.
Spoilers, by the way. That will be on this.
Yeah, well, you can't spoil a turd, can you? Come on.
Well,
it was right at the end. This this Inquisitor Reva, I think a name,
Reva,
even though she doesn't have a proper Inquisitor designation like a real Inquisitor. At the end, she saves Luke when Obi-Wan can't, and runs away. She doesn't actually get killed by Vader. She runs away, and Cal Kestis, the ginger lad from the Star Wars game, whatever it was, Jedi Fallen Order, comes in, and they both run off together as heroes or something like that. Anyway, I heard that. So apparently it's like they've filmed multiple endings for this as well, and people are saying, there are people on Twitter like saying, "Oh, we should just celebrate and be happy." They've filmed multiple endings for this. That shows how much they care. It's like, no, that shows that they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing, and they can't make an ending, and they're still deciding probably right now until it actually airs which ending they're going to put in.
That is the voice of a Star Wars fan at the end of his tether.
I have a tether. Oh my God.
It's fucking
I really hope they don't put Cal Kestis in. I mean, if you're going to take anything from Fallen Order, you should probably take the writing team, because they vaguely understood what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so, anyone who hasn't played the game but intends to, spoilers, turn your ears off. But otherwise, it's been out long enough. You've been out long enough. You should have played it by now. They do include Darth Vader right at the end, and it's principally in a cutscene. I think there's one sort of sequence gameplay moment, but he is unstoppable. You cannot kill him. He appears, he kills everyone, and you have to run away from him. And it works incredibly well because it really conveys the fear aspect of Darth Vader. And this is him early on as well. So this is not technically him at his absolute epitome.
Yeah.
But they deploy it very well. They deploy it cleverly in that game. And Cal Kestis as a character is actually not bad. He's probably one of the more likable Star Wars creations of the modern era. If they introduce him to this in a series which doesn't understand Darth Vader, and then they do what, well, as sort of says, might in fact be the end of this show, and just have him in there for reasons, and then they run off together as heroes without any of the writing to support him as a character, then that's just going to be shit. Because I mean, I've been having this argument with people in the context of Marvel and whether you need to have read the comics to watch the MCU, and the whole point is you should not have to read decades of comics to understand what is effectively a different universe. Yes. By the same token, you should not have to go back and play a video game to understand who Cal Kestis is. Cal Kestis, if he's introduced, needs to be introduced as the new character he will be to the majority of fans who are watching. You can't just throw him in at the end as fan service and expect people to take anything away from that at all. So if they do that, that will be incredibly disappointing, because they'll have picked another character to ruin.
Speaking of video games, actually, the Battlefront 2 game that had what's her face in it? Who is the main character, who was like an Imperial TIE fighter?
Jaden Versio.
Iden Versio, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah, she was. As soon as I saw the game and I saw her as a villain, and I saw that you were playing as her, I just thought, it ain't going to be for very long. She's going to turn sides and be the hero. And people, there's all these people out there going, yes, we're going to finally get to play as an Imperial, going to play as the bad guys, whatever. No, there's just a few missions, and then she becomes a rebel, because you can't have a woman as a bad guy in anything. You know, if she is, then it's all because of men. That's the only motivation she has to be bad or evil in any way, is because some man made her do it. So, you know, and then of course she turned to the good side because Leia told her to. So obviously a woman, only a woman could influence her. You know, I was face palming the whole way through, from announcement to when that game was actually being reviewed. I just couldn't stop face palming as soon as I saw it. Right from when it was on stage, when it was announced, I think at E3, when the two of the production team came out, and the first thing they said on stage to the audience was, "How many girls are within the audience? You like Star Wars, right? You like Star Wars games, right? Yeah, ladies. Yeah, is that right, ladies?" And there was a couple of like from the audience, and it was like someone had told them, someone had given a script to go out on stage and say, "Just get the females, just get them involved, get the women involved. For fuck's sake, Kathleen Kennedy's got her asses on the line. Get out there, get the women in on this. We need their interest." People just couldn't give a fuck.
Toxic white male chat there, everybody. Okay, so in the chat, Romeo, the Dark Horse comics have a bunch of great Star Wars stories set thousands of years before the first film. Why not draw on that? So much good source material. Then Hassan in the chat, Battlefront 2 campaign, very predictable.
Yep.
It was, but again, it says something that even though it was predictable and in places ridiculous, it was still probably better than any of the Disney films in terms of its plot. Just because it didn't really aspire to very much, and it was just filling in gaps.
Yeah.
And by being not ambitious, at least it didn't wreck anything. Not well, not too much anyway.
I read that the script, this was going to be a movie, wasn't it? And the script was pretty good, apparently. And I think the COVID stuff going on kind of affected this.
I think it was the fact that Solo bombed as well, and they thought they were probably not going to do. I think the plan was originally for a lot of these kind of standalone films, and the fact Solo bombed just made that they put them all on what Kathleen Kennedy would call the back burner, which means they've been filed down the memory hole.
I was just about to say.
They actually asked her in the interview, didn't they, in the magazine?
Yes.
They said, "Oh, what about Rian Johnson's trilogy?" And Kath, you so know that she sort of like paused for a few seconds,
in denial,
creased her nose, and thought, "Rian Johnson's trilogy? Oh yeah, that.
Him, the round-headed one. Yeah.
Oh, that's that's on the back burner. Yeah, this still coming. Yeah. Anyway, next question.
And the explanation was that he's too busy with Knives Out. So if I were head of Lucasfilm and I was offering a director the chance to do their own Star Wars trilogy and they said, nah, I'm a bit busy at the moment, maybe later, I would not go to that person again. We're talking about Star Wars. Maybe it's a quaint, old-fashioned romantic point of view, but you should drop everything for that chance. And yeah, I guess that there'll be contractual obligations and all the rest of that. But it's been a long time since he was supposed to have started his trilogy. He can't have been working on Knives Out for the entire time.
Exactly. You think we would have seen something of it by now? One was they announced it before The Last Jedi was even released, right? Which is already a bad sign. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. And we've not seen one iota of concept art, for God's sake. So this is not happening. Come on, it's just never going to happen.
The script for Kenobi film was pretty good, apparently, and then, as Lord said, the Solo lost money, so they started panicking, didn't they? And then this kind of migrated to streaming. Apparently, the script was rewritten to Auntie Kathy's specs, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the writing was on the wall, wasn't it, guys?
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, written with a lump of poo.
Because if you read the article, it's just all fucking spin. And these people who read Vanity Fair now, people not our age, will be just fucking lapping it up. Whereas it's just bullshit. You can't kid a kidder.
And you can tell it. You can tell it is just chilling because they have lines in there that just don't comport with reality. The article says that the Book of Boba Fett delivered a redemption story, and then later on it says it's a bountiful time to be a Star Wars fan. Says someone who is clearly not a Star Wars fan who writes.
It's a bountiful time for eating shit sandwiches. Hassan in the chats. I hear Knives Out is supposed to be good.
Yep, same here.
Hassan gets it.
Yeah,
he refuses to watch it because of ruin.
Absolutely. I think at this point they realise they've lost the true fans. They've lost the hardcore fans that actually kept
paying.
And the ones that
with
loved
money,
it,
the ones with money,
the ones that saw everything 50 times and bought the same figure 50 times because they wanted to open one and play with one and then do unspeakable things with all the others. But now, basically, all they've got are the normies. So, and they know the normies don't care about details, so they're just slinging anything out there that vaguely resembles Star Wars with Kathleen Kennedy's filter on it, and hoping that the people will just lap it up and not be critical and just sit there, turn their brain off. Oh, lightsabers! Oh, sand! I remember sand.
Shiny lights.
That's it.
Boba Fett. I remember Boba Fett.
Okay, so we'll move on from this. As I said, this one photograph just says everything that is wrong with Star Wars. Modern Star Wars.
You could make this the really annoying thing about this.
Is the meme of all memes.
The reason this series is so depressing, or almost certainly will be so, is that you could actually do something really good with this. Like the premise could be amazing, or sorry, the premise could lead to something amazing if you actually played it right. You could even keep some of what we know from the leaks is likely going to happen. You could have the female Inquisitor, you could have her turning away from the dark side. All you'd really need to do is preferably keep, well, Obi-Wan and Vader away from each other for one thing, but all you'd really need to do to correct one of the major faults is have Obi-Wan cause her redemption. He can save the day. She is redeemed by him. It's kind of, well, as George Lucas says, it's like poetry. It rhymes because he couldn't save his own apprentice, but perhaps he can save her. So you give him some kind of character fulfillment. You can explain then why he goes from this miserable, decrepit hermit that they're going to portray him as, apparently someone who's completely lost touch with the Force as well. Then you give him his redemption. He rediscovers his place as a Jedi, and he becomes the Obi-Wan we see in A New Hope. You could do something like that with this series, and it wouldn't be horrible. But they won't do that because that would involve Obi-Wan being the hero, and then you'd have to relegate diverse female space Nazi to a secondary role, and I very clearly they want to portray her as the protagonist.
In the chat, Romeo, the phenomenon that you're all describing, RE Star Wars, is the reason the Michael Bay Transformers films made billions.
I have proudly only seen half of one of those, and I refuse to watch any others.
I will say the first Transformers film's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love that film.
I wouldn't call it awesome.
Fucking great film. It's a fucking great film.
Comparatively, it is great, but it's not a great film. Definitely not.
If you watch it now, you'll be blown away by it.
Do you remember back in the 80s, they used to do those Letraset make your own scene transfers?
Yes.
That's what this looks like. Is somebody's like,
yeah, fucking Letraset, boys and girls. Fucking
yes. Oh
just
my God,
rub them off onto the background with no sense of
fucking
perspective.
Oh, that's so true, and they've not been put on properly. Well, they're even at slightly at wrong angles and stuff. And yes, you're absolutely right. Oh,
that's what it reminds me of.
New face in the chat. Lost Gecko is not related to you, is he? Lost. Only other Ryan Johnson film I saw was Looper, and it was meh at best.
Agreed.
Also, Ruin Johnson is probably out as KK as a revolving door of directors on every. I think trouble is with KK. She's stuck in the fucking revolving doors and not leaving Lucasfilm.
I was just going to say, I was just going to say that Ryan Johnson's stuck inside the revolving door because he keeps coming back around and disappearing again.
It's the shit that just won't flush.
Yeah.
I'm not sure directors are the problem. I genuinely think writers are the problem. She has a revolving door of writers, and obviously Ryan Johnson was writer-director, so that sort of fits in. But the original Star Wars trilogy had different directors for each of the films, and it still worked because you had George Lucas overseeing the entire creative and writing vision. You had other people in who could basically do dialogue, which he famously can't. And you had his creative vision supervising whichever director happened to come in. They shared a vision for it. They created one of the great masterpieces of cinema. And the approach for the sequel trilogy was have one director and a writing team, and then a different director, and let him write it himself, and then get another director in with a different writing team, and then eventually it will all come together with no forethought, no planning, no through line. Obviously, that is not going to work. I don't necessarily think her having a revolving door of directors is necessarily a problem. It's indicative of a problem, but the bigger problem and the deeper problem is the fact that she does the same thing with writers.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Mouse. Hello, Andy. I quite liked Looper. I quite liked it as well, to be fair.
I thought it was alright. So it works if you don't think about it, that movie.
Yeah.
If you go back and actually analyse it, it's absolute crap. But I mean, I wouldn't have watched that movie. If that movie got released after The Last Jedi, there's no way I would have watched it.
It's like everything that he's done, Ryan Johnson, you look at it first time, you think, yeah, that's not too bad.
Breaking
and then
Bad
you go
was
back
alright.
and look back at it and go, oh, no.
Yes. So true.
Okay, so we'll just go through the Star Wars news because obviously I think Disney were on their Star Wars push. Mando Season 3 premiere, Disney minus late 2022 or early 2023. bearing in mind, I think they've already shown, was it 2 or 3 episodes on the...
They sort of rushed them through production to try and boost the Boba Fett series, didn't they? But, just ended up making it worse, I think, if anything, because it wasn't Boba Fett. It confused everybody instead.
Best 3 episodes of that series. Shame, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Is this the only decent Star Wars we've got then, do you think, peeps?
No, there is no decent Star Wars.
No, there's not. It's the closest you're going to get to seeing decent on the horizon, but it's not actually decent.
It's the least bad of them.
So Andy's correct then. Boba Fett.
Yeah, well, I think he did eventually because he got slightly thinner, didn't he?
Yeah. Let's not forget the beautiful moment, though, when they brought Luke Skywalker back. Collective joy around the world. You could just feel it. And then it was back to reality, folks.
Even that, though, I mean, the more you think about that, the more you think that it was, but that was a lot of people had the exact same reaction to The Force Awakens. And it wasn't because it was actually good in its own right. It's just because it looked vaguely like something you used to love. And then everyone showered it with praise, and then they thought, well, we'll just do that, and then people will be satisfied. And it doesn't lead to good writing. It doesn't lead to new stories. You can do shot-by-shot comparisons of The Force Awakens and A New Hope, and it's basically the same film with bits of the other two thrown in as well. The fact everyone flooded to see that just because it looked familiar is what gave us the rest of the sequel trilogy. And the more you look, because I've rewatched it a couple of times, because I'm still halfway through a review of that as well, the Book of Boba Fett. And the more you look at that appearance by Luke Skywalker, everyone loved it because it looked like finally we were getting to see something we've wanted to see for such a long time. But it's exactly the same reaction as we had to The Force Awakens. And if you look at what Luke Skywalker's appearance actually entails, the character is a simulacrum and not the real thing. And the dialogue is the most revealing thing, not the CGI, because he says nothing. It's just insert lines. And then B, he contradicts everything that we set up in Return of the Jedi. Why is the guy who risked his own life and the fate of the galaxy to save his father now lecturing baby Yoda about not having attachments? And then obviously it leads to Jake Skywalker after that because they're building the temple. So actually, no, it's The Force Awakens phenomenon. Again, it looked lovely. And I felt that too, because I've always wanted to see that. But actually that reaction that so many of us had is not a good thing. That's how they keep getting away with this shit. As long as you throw in scenes like that from time to time, people will be satisfied.
The only reason why this is popular still at the moment is because it's the normie factor, but also the fact that there are fans out there that are still in that denial stage that Star Wars is actually dead, and they're still in some kind of strange belief that it is still alive in some way. But they haven't realized yet that it died a long time ago, and it's just the corpse is being puppeted, and they're still in love with seeing their dead relative in front of them that's got
nostalgia. It's happy times.
Yeah, they've got this fake blusher on and stuff. Like, no, look at him. Look, he's perfectly healthy. No, that's just his rosy cheeks. Look at him. Look, they haven't realised yet that the inside of the body is constructed with wires and bags of sand, and it's been pulled by strings by someone just out of shot. Can't quite see.
They used to do that.
Realise, then they're going to be fucked off. But it's getting there.
Joseph in the chat. Hello, Joseph. Yes, standards have fallen. I love the old Tomb Raider movies now.
And you know things about if you love the old Tomb Raider movies. They used to do that in Victorian England when people died. They would put gloss over their faces and then resin on the faces, and they'd sit them up to pose for the final photograph, and they've been dead for weeks. No, you're right. That's basically Star Wars now. I think, to its credit, season 1 of The Mandalorian, though it's not particularly well written, you can critique its plot, you can critique the writing, there was life in it, I think, in season 1. It was you could tell it did actually care something about the galaxy it was set in. It was interested in exploring more of it. It was consciously unambitious because it had seen the ambition of Rian Johnson and how everybody hated that. So it wanted a stripped down, bare bones story through the eyes of a character who was not pivotal in the future of anything and shouldn't be pivotal in the future of anything. And it did actually do something to fill some of the galaxy out. So to the extent there was any life left in Star Wars, I think it was Mando season 1, and up to a point season 2 did the same thing. Season 3, or the Book of Boba Fett, though, that's when it's become just idiotic, because now they're trying to make it pivotal, and it shouldn't be pivotal. They didn't. No, they should just keep it completely away from any of the main story, the main saga, and just continue to explore the galaxy in a way that people can look at, not necessarily think too hard about, but at least like what they see without thinking.
Shall we give the last word to Romeo? Honestly, Luke in the Mando series finale, brackets, while a bit nonsensical, close brackets, was magic. It was. Even I couldn't resist it. The nostalgia is strong in this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was, my hands were in the air, I was cheering, and I was crying. Right,
your hands were in the air like you just didn't care.
And well, there's no one else here, so of course I didn't care. And honestly, I was so happy in that moment. But it was a very short-lived moment because I was
tearing up.
After that, it just went everything went to shit. After that, Gina Carano was fired. Kathleen Kennedy stuck her all back in. And it's like her own personal projects that she had going on elsewhere outside Star Wars that Lucasfilm were dealing with fell through, and they lost the license for it. And I can't remember the name of it now anyway, but Lord Cord probably knows about it. But as soon as she was around again, twiddling her thumbs, not knowing what to do, she was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna shove my elbow back into Star Wars and fuck everything up." And after season 2 of Mandalorian, that's what happened. Straight back in, all gone to shit.
I completely forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. Obviously, everybody's talked about this a trillion times. They had the magic of Skywalker coming back, and I think they had the audience like putty in their hands at that moment.
Well, there was a chance. There was a chance that it wasn't going to end up in the same place that where the Last Jedi took place. There was a shred of a chance.
KK stuck a big fucking oar in and sacked Gina Carano, and that's when it went.
It wasn't just her though, because people had that. I mean, I remember when the end of season 2 of Mando, when you first see Luke, and then sorry, I keep saying season 3 of Mando, the Book of Boba Fett, when you see him much more. And I remember people at the time saying, no, this could at least be leading in a different direction. Maybe they're slowly trying to write themselves out of the sequel trilogy. Maybe it's all going to be retconned at the end. And this is a faith-based position. There is no underpinning to it at all, and there never was. Favreau and Filoni have given multiple interviews since the beginning of The Mandalorian saying, no, we always write with the sequel trilogy in mind. There was never a chance that it was going to be retcon, but it just speaks to how passionately people wanted it to happen, that one scene of Luke Skywalker was enough to get people effectively to deny reality and say, maybe they can take this somewhere else. I think, to be honest, the best thing they could have done, Mando season 2, have the Luke Skywalker scene, have him take Baby Yoda, and that's it. We don't see either of them again.
Yes.
And it would have left an unresolved trauma in Mando's story, but it would not have allowed them to carry on abusing the corpse in the same way, and they could have actually carried on trying to find interesting new stories to tell, rather than just having this perpetual plot device / merch opportunity / MacGuffin for him to fly around now with a fucking N1 starfighter with his little head poking out the top. That was a bad decision, but we shouldn't be surprised about that.
Z, anything to add before we move on?
No, Kathleen Kennedy can fuck herself.
Yeah, I think that's that's the main thing, isn't it? Okay, so this also Andor TV series. Anybody know why?
As the drinker would say, don't care.
Yeah.
I absolutely could not care less about this series.
It was a good film, wasn't it, Rogue One?
I like
This is the reason. It's the least terrible out of all Disney's efforts. This is the sole reason that this exists right here. Is because they thought, let's look at what all the fans seem to like the most out of what we put out so far. Oh yeah, everyone liked Rogue One, didn't they? Or most people did at least. So let's put a TV series based on that out. Without actually trying anything new, without actually trying to look at what caused damage in the first place and get proper writers on board or anything. It was just like, no, let's go after what people hated least that we've already done and drag it out further than it should be. We all know how this ends. He dies. It's the same with Mandalorian. And Z keeps saying it all ends with Jake Skywalker. Why should we care if it ends up like that? Why the hell should we care? We know where it's going. No one should give a fuck about it, And it's the same with this. We know he dies. What's the point?
Yeah, this one in particular, because we don't just know that he dies. We also know where and when.
Yeah.
So you even tease his death in this. I mean, it's say Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, which has Captain Pike. Well, we already know that Pike is going to die, but we don't.
Jim Hopper died as well.
Yeah, but we don't actually know when Pike is going to die. And also, they've written it in such a way as to make it seem as though it's his sense of duty which trumps his fear of his death. But the point, we don't know exactly when and where and in what circumstances he dies. So you can still tease a death, and it would still make some kind of sense in plot. But with Andor, you can't do that because we know exactly where, when, and in what circumstances he dies. But I don't think it was just because of the success of Rogue One. If you read the Vanity Fair piece, I think it does suggest a slightly darker and more sinister motive for this, which is that I can't remember the guy's name, the actor. He's said that essentially this series is going to be a story about refugees fleeing an evil empire.
Yeah,
and you know exactly where that is going to go.
Yeah.
Oh God,
he was much better in Narcos, Mexico, to be fair. But there you go.
Are we going to see lots of blue and yellow imagery in this series? I wonder.
See, Romeo gets it. They did the same thing to Jim Hopper. Romeo, that's between you and me. These guys didn't get it.
I did.
Silence.
What's that? I know the name, but the only Hopper I can think of is from Stranger Things.
Yes, there's
Predator.
also Jim Hopper in Predator who's killed, and there are fan theories that it is the same character.
Oh, fair.
Anyway, okay. So this has been given 2 series. So,
and you know, just again from the images that they are just going to be playing on it's nostalgia bait, basically. In what sense, what context would this guy possibly find himself standing in open space in front of a Death Star? Except that it looks pretty, and we remember the
woman character. What was her name?
Jyn Erso.
That's the one.
Is she going to be in the wings and appear right at the last, say, season 2, last episode, saying, "I'm here to save the day"? Or
I'm a rebel. Like let's rebel.
Andy Mouse in the chat. I'm going to be controversial at the mo. I like Strange New Worlds.
I liked episode 1, but it's the only one I've seen.
I will say, Andy, Sunday night. We'll talk about that. But yes. Moving on.
This was also there was the good thing about Rogue One, whatever you do say about its plot and its, whether or not it contradicts events in A New Hope. It was I would say just about nostalgia baiting done right, because like bringing in the different Peter Parkers in Spider-Man No Way Home. It wasn't just, oh look, it's a Death Star. Remember the Death Star? It was actually integral to the plot, so it did make sense that it was there. And some of the visuals in that film were actually stunning. It was a very well made film from a cinematographic point of view.
Yeah.
So there were things to like about that.
Gareth Edwards loved Star Wars. He was trying to be true to it, and we've never seen him since.
No, strange, isn't it? Anyone with actual passion and knows what they're doing is thrown out the door. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So another series nobody's looking forward to. John Watts, who was doing... What film was he doing? He was doing Fantastic Four, wasn't he? He's gone. And he's going to be doing a series set after Return of the Jedi. Who's excited for this?
It's the first I've heard of it.
No. Make it all stop, please.
This is when the sequel trilogy should have been set.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
An untitled Star Wars series set after Return of the Jedi. Oh.
But the Book of Boba Fett is set after Return of the Jedi, and The Mandalorian is set after the Return of the Jedi. And Ahsoka will be set after the Return of the Jedi. So we're not missing any more content in that time period. It's just that it was probably one of the most interesting periods in the whole history of Star Wars, and it could have made for some very, very good films. And we didn't have it as the mainline cinema productions, and now they're just filling in gaps, which, okay, fine. It would be nice if they filled them in effectively. But just telling us that it's a series after Return of the Jedi is basically saying we're doing another one, but we're not going to tell you anything else about it. So
I think Andy's waiting for an Ewoks series.
This, God, they've had a track record ever since like The Last Jedi Lucasfilm have had a track record of announcing things and it never, and a massive shitload of them never happening. They just fade into obscurity and no one ever talks about them again. And I'm just getting that stink from this as well.
I think it all stinks. They just seem to be super saturating the market.
Yeah, which is exactly the opposite to what Bob Iger said after the failure of Solo. It was like we've done too much too soon. We're going to pull back and only release things rather than do quality more than quantity.
Right. So why are they doing this now? Is it just because of the streaming model? Just
it's because of Disney
content.
Plus. Yeah, because Disney Plus, they have to get stuff out of Disney Plus. They're just churning shit out no matter what.
Okay, so Star Wars has become it's not Star Wars anymore. It's content.
Yeah, good description. Yeah, content.
You heard it first, folks. Star Wars is content.
Milking those teats dry at the moment, I have to say. There's just so much of it, and it's all mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not even that good, but anyway.
It's just sort of semi-transparent, tepid water dripping from the teat, isn't it? That's all it is.
Speaking of mediocre, The Acolytes, set 100 years before The Phantom Menace, which ironically, I think is that 20 years old today?
Is it today?
Or yesterday? Yeah, I think the anniversary was today or yesterday. I can't remember.
I thought that came out in 99.
98.
Where did I see?
Well, you did 99. You're right.
Where did I see anniversary? Am I getting my 20 years mixed up with something else?
And Revenge of the Sith was 2003.
Okay, I'm probably getting my years mixed up, but I know it said the anniversary today.
No, because it wouldn't have been that big a gap.
Who cares anyway?
Well, it was 20 years Attack of the Clones, wasn't it?
Was there a 4-year gap between them?
Pass.
Yes,
anyway.
I think you're right, because Phantom Menace was 23. Good Lord. I was almost that age when I went to college and I was waiting for that film to come out. Oh, my God. Oh, dear. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, Leslie Headland is doing this one, apparently.
Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Stream killer.
It's appropriate for people who are raping Star Wars.
Yeah, very. Yeah. I've got absolutely no... If she's involved in this, good Lord, I've got no...
Romeo, send in the clones maybe 2002. Is it 20 years, or did I just make that up?
I think that might be right. Because I think Revenge of the Sith was 04, was it? 05? Something like that. So that sounds about right.
Christ, 20 years. Fucking
yeah, what the hell? Yeah, exactly.
So again, anybody care about this?
Well, do we know anything about it apart from... I mean, I think they're doing some... It's sensible. They are taking it to a new time period. And it's about time that they did that, even if it is going backwards rather than forwards.
Somebody mentioned, was it Romeo, about lots of stories from the time period?
Yeah, I think he was mentioning like thousands of years before.
Oh, okay.
It's a really great period, but they're not doing that because they're not creative.
Yeah, here we go. I've scrolled up. Dark Horse Comics. Yeah, thousands of years.
They're very good as well. They're amazing.
Unless if that's a typo in the doodah.
No, I think I mean like Tales of the Jedi and stuff, and they're all phenomenal stories, absolutely phenomenal. But I know what would happen if they went back and adapted those. No pop culture is safe these days. If anything gets adapted, it's just going to get raped, and that's exactly what happened to the stuff that's set thousands of years before. So they're kind of going for 100 years before instead, which kind of still makes it a little bit more recognizable, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's not too. I mean, it's not as far away as the prequels. It's not as close to the original trilogy as the prequels. It's sort of set before that, so they can still be original without it losing its its identity. It can still look like classic Star Wars. They can still ride on the image of familiarity. Yeah.
It's the Rogue One thing again, though, because you can use this as an opportunity to confine yourself effectively to as much of the lore as you possibly can. I mean, I know there are criticisms of Rogue One in this regard, but compared to other Star Wars products, it was still good. You could use this as a way of, you have a definite endpoint toward which you're working, so you don't have to take the risk of trying anything totally, utterly brand new in terms of storytelling and plot progression. That can actually have a good effect on film writers and film creators, because it means they don't follow their wacky ideas into eternity like Rian Johnson did. The problem, though, is that the closer you are to the prequels in time, the more opportunity you have to completely fuck up the continuity. And given how much they've demonstrated they care about continuity, it would be surprising if they didn't massively fuck up continuity. But will we finally get to hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise in this one, do we think? We'll see it.
Pass.
It was 100 years too early.
I'm quite looking forward to a live-action Geode myself.
Yeah, I wish. That'd be great.
But, you know, this is just going to be something they're going to use to shoehorn in characters from their comic series.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yes.
Onto the screen, which nobody wants to see.
No one wants their shite that they've tried to create.
I don't want to talk about it anymore, so we'll move on.
Well, Marvel are doing this as well. So Marvel has the entire history of the comics it can work with, but it is fast forwarding to the Disney era of the comics as quickly as it possibly can. And so it is inserting. You could potentially go back to the old expanded universe and find characters that would be worth including, but they won't go back to the old expanded universe because they retconned it for a reason. They will go to any comics that they produced around that time period during the period of their ownership, and those are the ones that they'll include instead. So even if they do, because you can use established comic book characters well in film, and the Avengers did that, obviously. But if you are just doing the Disney thing and trying to create this black hole into which all content sucks fans into this black hole, then that's almost certainly what they will do.
There was a moment of good news this week, though. Rian Johnson's trilogy is no longer active. So it's not all bad news, is it?
No,
Ruin's going to be upset, but...
I like the way they did this. They didn't say, "Oh, it's not happening." They just said, "Oh, it's on the back burner," because they can't go back on what they said when The Last Jedi was.
It would admit defeat, yes.
Premiering, yeah, when they said, "Oh, we're going to give them a trilogy," they can't now go back on that because they're desperately trying to save face. But I mean, how much face can you save when you've got literally no face left?
Rian Johnson has quite a big face, but
big round one, yes.
He's like he is too busy to do it, so he's basically now the Rose Tico of Star Wars writing.
I've got some admin to do. I won't be able to join you on this adventure.
Anyway, okay, right. Question: do you want to finish at 1 hour, or do you want to go for an extra half hour on the Obi-Wan predictions?
It's entirely up to you. It's your stream.
Yeah, it's your decision, Brown. Keep going if you want. It's fine.
I'm easy either way. What about you guys?
Yeah,
I can go.
Okay, right. Okay, so for the remaining 4,000 people who are watching this, we're going to do some. Should we do some predictions from the Obi-Wan series trailer? I kind of got a few stills together. We were going to talk about this the other day, but it's just show business. Things don't happen. So here we go. If Andy says we're going to give it another half hour, well, who are we to say no? Cheers, Andy. Okay, so as I said, I took these stills from the trailer because I'm sure they kind of compacted all the series into the 1 minute. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously they missed the double K, didn't they? Series predictions. We'll just pile through the slides and talk about where we see something of interest, usually some flashing lights. Right, so Lucasfilm Limited. So far, so good then, folks, yeah?
What they've green screened out is Mickey Mouse with his fist right up its ass.
Yeah.
They should be a lot clearer on this and put Disney Lucasfilm.
I wonder what George thinks when he sees that.
They should just be honest and take off the Lucas and put Kennedy in there.
Kennedy film.
Because that's exactly.
I'm sure he wipes away the tears with the bundles of cash he got.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he does.
Need the cash though, did he?
No, and you could tell he did actually care because he got in real trouble, didn't he, toward the beginning of Disney's tenure when he was asked what it was like, and he said it's like, what was it, something about slave owners?
Yeah.
Comparing Disney to slave masters flogging the corpse of his beloved dream, and then he got in trouble and had to do clarifying interviews.
Yeah. Romeo, prediction: Obi-Wan is alive at the end. His dignity and ours, not so much. Andy, it's just a logo to me. It used to mean something to a lot of people. Oh, it's all doom
you
and
still see it flash up at the beginning of the old Star Wars films, and
that nice green and yeah. Okay, so this was the first. There's like a big spaceship thing going to a city. Anybody knows what this is? See anybody?
No.
Okay, right. Nobody
well,
cares.
It's a new
then.
planet. Well, hang on. Well, let's at least just enjoy the fact that there is no sand in this scene.
Not yet.
Not yet, but that's why we know that Darth Vader can be in it, because there's no way he could go towards sand.
Going back to logo, Andy, it used to mean great work. Yeah, I'm pushing the envelope.
Yeah. Used to mean
And Joshua White Slavers.
That was the one.
Boom. After that. Okay.
Yes, new planet will all look lovely. At least we get a little bit of an expanded sense of the universe. So, there is that. There will be bits and pieces in this which are not irredeemable. Yeah. The problem is going to be the main story.
I was talking to Z off air. This, to me, looked like the test footage of the George Lucas TV series that he was going to do.
Yeah, the Underworld one.
Anybody see
Very
that?
much.
Yeah, there was, because they've tried that a couple of times. There was the Underworld TV series, and there was a game. Was it Is it 1616 or 1919? There was supposed to be a game which is set in exactly the same setting, context, same kind of seedy underworld. I think you played a bounty hunter of some description in that, and they failed at it every single time. So it's not a bad idea. It just depends how much time they're going to spend here, and I gather they're not going to spend a huge amount.
Romeo. He likes Alec Guinness, best Obi-Wan. McGregor is a pale imitation. Jonathan Frost. That's Cad Bane, right?
Is he in this series?
That'd be strange if he is.
Z loved him, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, fucking great. He was a great villain. Okay, so this is a new city we've not seen. Flashing lights, that'll keep some people happy. Lost Gecko. Looks like Underworld I'll start again. Looks like the Underworld series test footage and the 1313 game.
1313. I knew it was a multiple of 3. I was nearly there.
Is that double bad luck?
Well, it never got made, so I assume it is, yes.
Okay. Right, okay, so...
have they fixed his head? I heard they had fixed his head after the fan backlash.
He better have, because he looks nothing like his counterpart. He's got a much, much taller forehead.
I don't know anything about Star Wars other than the original trilogy and the shite we've had. So, what is this? Who is this?
Oh, that's the Chief Inquisitor.
And what does he do?
Oh, he's a former temple guard at the Jedi temple, who's been twisted to the dark side of the Force, and he's a Jedi hunter. He hunts Jedis.
Is he a Jedi though?
He's a former Jedi. They all are.
Oh, right, okay.
And he is the epitome of an evil white man.
Center of the shot, though, yes?
Yes,
he is actually quite a foe to be reckoned with from his appearances in Star Wars Rebels. But here, not as menacing as he could be. Not at all.
Also, have you heard what the actor has said about the character?
No.
He has said he's done the classic modern thing, the same thing they did with Halo. He has said, we deliberately didn't go and rewatch any of the stuff he was in because we wanted a fresh take on the character that respects his past but is something new.
Yeah, because that makes sense, doesn't it? Oh,
how can you respect the past of the character if you've not looked?
You don't know what it is.
Unbelievable. unfucking believable.
Sheer fucking hubris.
It is,
Yeah.
why do they keep coming out on Twitter and saying this like it's a good thing? The Halo writers did the same thing. Oh, we deliberately didn't go and play the games or read any of the comics or anything. Like we wanted something new. Why do they keep doing this?
Is it like kind of young speak for actors that make it's kind of directing what they're saying at a certain generation, mainly the generation whose world it is.
Well, I don't know.
And
'cause
it's
when
just like, as actors, we're stunning and brave.
But it's not been that long since this guy debuted. You know, the series he was in is only a few years ago, so it's not
Yeah.
exactly as though there's a new generation to appeal to here. It wouldn't have been a defensible excuse with any of the characters, but it wouldn't make sense to use that for a show that only ended 5 years ago, if that.
I think Andy gets it. That is world salad bollocks. Yeah, I think that'd be word salad. Yeah, word salad. Yeah, damn you, autocorrect.
If you've seen the comparisons between the Grand Inquisitor in Clone Wars, was it Clone Wars? Sorry, Rebels and
Rebels.
yeah.
So, yes. Grand Inquisitor, not Chief Inquisitor. What am I talking about?
Who cares, really? I mean, they don't care about details. Why should we? You look at the images of the characters side by side. The one in the animation looks nothing like this. He should have glowing yellow eyes. His head should be sort of narrow and tall. He's kind of got these grooves going down his face because he's a Pauan alien. He's not white human like they're trying to make him out here. They just do not give an absolute fuck about it. And if you're an Inquisitor, this is the kind of look you have. And of course, because we've got the strong, empowered woman of color involved, we can't have her whiting her face up.
Shit, isn't it? Lost Gecko, they do it because they have no ability to create a competent story within existing canon.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Pretty
that,
much.
Disney. Have that.
So I was kind of when the whole stink kicked off about the size of his head. Obviously, they're at a disadvantage because which of the two species from Mutapau is he? Is it a Pauan or the other one? That he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be a Pauan.
Yeah. So obviously we've had one of those already in Revenge of the Sith. So we know what we know from that kind of what they're supposed to look like. We know from the animated series what they're kind of supposed to look like. A huge stink kicked off online when he didn't look very much like that. And I was kind of prepared to overlook that and sort of write that off as a little bit of a silly kind of complaint, because obviously famously people of any species have variations within species. You can sort of see your way around that. And if you're going to write the series off solely for that reason, I think that would have been an overreaction. The problem is that it was always indicative of an approach, and that was why people got so pissed off with it. And that approach has now been confirmed, given that we know that none of them consciously went back and actually watched any of the old stuff to form this character. So it wasn't just a design oversight. It was a design oversight that really signified an approach to an entire character and kind of storytelling.
Is this the same set as Boba Fett?
It looks, well,
Probably.
yeah.
It's not the same location, though, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, they're both on Tatooine. I don't know if they're on Mos Eisley this time rather than Mos Espa. But
everything happens on Tatooine, doesn't it?
Well, that's because they've built the set.
Yeah, they've got to get the most. They've got to get the money's worth out of it. The thing
18
is,
shows on the same set, so cost effective.
Tatooine was always known for its beautiful blue, clear skies, right? Which is kind of the nature of the ecosphere of the planet. And every single time we see Tatooine in Disney Wars, it's just this shitty white sky going on. It's like, what the fuck is this?
It's like Mexico movies, when everything's through an orange filter.
Yeah.
And everything's through a sand filter. When the trailer for this first came out, it's reminded me very much of when the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog came out. And everybody went, yeah, you need to redesign that.
Yeah, right.
And they did, to their credit. They
made
actually
a shitload of money.
Yeah, I bet they don't in this.
Melvin's in everybody. Hello, Melvin.
And also, we are living in the kind of clown world where the writers for Sonic the Hedgehog are more respectful of Sonic the Hedgehog than the writers of Star Wars are respectful of Star Wars.
Let's not forget.
And the director.
And it made a ton of money.
Yeah, because it listened to fans.
Yeah. Sorry, not for customers.
Customers, yeah, of course.
And the industry is really aware of that correction as well, because the Chip and Dale movie I saw a clip of earlier on today where
Ugly Sonic.
yes, exactly. They go to a convention and Ugly Sonic is a guest there behind the desk, and they sort of go up and chat to him. I didn't have the sound on, but they're obviously conversing with the ugly version of the character who's famous because of the massive fan uproar. So they've put that character in the Chip and Dale movies, and which is a Disney property, for God's sake. So you think Disney, of all people, of all companies, would be aware of this shit, but not, it's still coming up with fan annoying shit like this. A complete lack of self-awareness, complete lack of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would anybody know what this scene is about? We think he's asking for directions.
Yeah, to the Little Inquisitor's room.
Right, okay.
It's been a long flight. I need to relieve myself. Perhaps you'd like to direct me to the nearest Inquisitor facilities, please.
Will they be gender neutral?
Probably.
I think he's asking, does my head look big in this?
And here we go, folks. This is it. This is what George originally thought 45 years ago when he was putting pen to paper for the very first time. All roads lead to this.
The only thing missing here is a side-shaved haircut.
Yeah. Give her an opportunity. She'll probably be back in a future movie or series with a new look.
Lots of white men bowing.
Yeah. I think her expression here is basically my attitude to the entire franchise now.
I will say, guys, if there's any toxic white males in the chat, please get down on your knees and pray to this screen and beg for forgiveness.
Yeah, try and out your white guilt.
But we all know she's going to have such a great redemption curve.
It is her story. You can tell by the title.
Yeah.
But there'll be people just fucking lapping it up.
Yeah, oh yeah, there will be. You guarantee it.
That's the thing. Like as we said earlier, that could work as a subplot or as a side story or as a way of conveying Obi-Wan's story and his redemption, and he can guide her back to the light. But that isn't going to be what's happened. Like, there's no problem with casting, diverse actors in leading roles. I'm all for that. But they have to be in good roles and not come at the expense of, beloved characters that people do not want to see traduced and destroyed, which is almost certainly what this series is going to do.
Problem is, right? The people that are going to be lapping it up won't be able to appreciate how great it could have been. They'll just readily accept the shite that they get and not question.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is the argument you sometimes hear for the sequel trilogy. They say, oh, well, but look at it made so much money, so you're clearly wrong. Like, no, that's what you're talking about is half the picture. You shouldn't really be asking how much money did it make, because in actually, box office returns over a longer period are a much more reliable indicator of how successful the film is anyway. What you should be asking is how much more money it could have made had they told a better story that got people going back again and again and again, rather than creating one film which everyone loved and then one film which everyone went to see once, which they hated so much that they didn't go and see the third one. So no, box office returns are not an indicator of success in that way.
Here you go, guys. Romeo. True story, boys. Had a white guilt seminar at work on Monday. Quit on Tuesday.
Bravo. Congratulations.
You know what, guys? I was just thinking, the reason why I've gone back to this slide, if this had been made 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all you guys and the peeps in the chat, we would have looked at this and we wouldn't have even batted an eyelid.
No.
Wouldn't have even batted an eyelid.
No, but we know the formula now, you see. So they can't pull it over our eyes anymore. We know exactly what's going on.
Maybe 2014, 2015, if this had been made 7 years ago, I think would have been genuinely excited for this, and we would not have even batted an eyelid at this.
Yeah, it's the fundamental irony of the entire endeavor, which is that in the name of representation, it's got everyone so looking out for effectively tokenistic representation. And even if you know the actor puts in a really good performance, it's still not going to be enough, because there will always be the suspicion that she was only cast because of how she looks, and she's only in the story because they wanted more representation.
It's a shame on the actress.
Absolutely. I mean, look, black people have been underrepresented in Star Wars. That's probably fair to say, given there were only 2 of them in the mainline films for the first 6 films, so like 40 odd years of film. No, not that long, but you know. But the point is, though, everyone loved Lando and everyone loves Mace Windu. So it's not that they're underrepresented because no one wants to see black people in Star Wars. It's just it's a fact that there weren't enough of them. Write more characters like Mace Windu and like Lando. They start including diverse actors for the sake of diversity, then people are going to suspect that motive, even if the intentions are the best. And it actually sets back the cause of diverse and representation in acting, because no one wants to get that sort of cloud hanging over them that they're only there because they tick a box. These actors deserve better than that.
Yeah,
well, I hope they do anyway.
As I said 7 years ago, we wouldn't have even batted an eyelid. Today, we just see this for what it is, and
you just shrug at the screen.
And they call it progress.
Stunning and brave.
It'd be amazing if the series finishes and we do a stream saying how fucking amazing this show was, and this
wouldn't it be lovely?
This girl deserves a fucking Golden Globe. Nothing would give us more pleasure in doing that.
I think we've seen enough formula to know exactly how
where
this
it's
is
going. Yeah,
it's the same format for everything they do, even in Marvel as well. It's the same format. It's just terrible.
Who's this then? Anybody know?
It's a young Jake Skywalker.
Yeah.
He's this image.
Anybody in the chat? Do they know who this is? Anybody?
He's not strangely not blonde when he should be.
I guess you could say dirty blonde from that distance, and maybe the goggles are color saturated.
Melvin Deeply spent most of my life begging for forgiveness. Turns out I'm not sorry, and I'd do it all again. Melvin Deeply, Jackie Stewart, Jonathan. Yeah, see, that's it, isn't it? It all roads lead to Jake.
And the thing is, if the leaks are correct, then this is all leading to things that directly cock up Luke and his relationship with Ben Kenobi, because according to these leaks anyway, Obi-Wan is he's with Luke for an extended period of time. He shows him his lightsaber. And he actually turns it.
Is that a metaphor?
This is not a euphemism. He shows him his lightsaber. He turns the lightsaber on. You'd think, as a young kid, you might remember the first time you saw a lightsaber, the sacred weapon of the Jedi, who in your lifetime was still going to be a myth.
Very good.
But then when he comes along to the New Hope, it's what's that? Oh, it's your father's lightsaber. It's an ancient Jedi weapon of a more civilized age. Well, you should remember that, shouldn't you?
Sam, Jake Skywalker, yeah. Melvin, Elliot Page. Stream killer there, folks. Stream killer.
Apparently, one of the early drafts for this was basically The Mandalorian, but with Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan having a very young Luke Skywalker on his back and running away from the Empire. And they got rid of that script because they thought it was too similar to The Mandalorian. And I think they were
I heard that. Yeah. I think that was the Kathy Kennedy. That was it. The script was too similar to something else. And it got booted out, and then it's got all her stench over it. So I think that's the moment where it fucked up. Okay, so he's looking at Jake. Fantastic teapot.
Oh, Owen Lars, you beautiful man.
Z, do you know this person?
I do know him very well, every bit of him.
Intimately?
Oh, look at him. Standing there, looking butch, telling everyone what a complete fucking failure he is.
Would you like to go full screen?
Yeah. Giving Obi-Wan sass. What is that about?
Will you be shutting down for the evening now?
He needs training. Oh, well, like you trained his father. Is that what you did? Created the greatest murder in the galaxy. You fucking bearded wanker.
Credit to it though. This is kind of proof that there is like green shoots of life, because the trailer has given us a meme, and that's usually a sign of cultural sort of aliveness.
Yeah.
So it's a fucking spicy take from Uncle
Lost Gecko. All roads lead to subverting expectations, which are too predictable. Which are too predictable at this point. Then Joseph. There you go. Double rainbow.
What does it mean?
Okay. Next one, yeah.
Remember TIE fighters?
Nice hanger shot. TIE fighters.
I remember TIE fighters. Remember Imperial shuttles? Oh, Imperial shuttles. I remember them.
Is this kind of a member berry kind of keys jangling scene then?
Yes.
It is. There's so many jingly jangly going on. I'm surprised Jimmy Savile hasn't turned up.
How's about? Sure, what day?
Sure.
What day?
It wouldn't surprise me if they tried to completely stain Obi-Wan's character with something like that.
Melvin Deeply, I'm not keen on Joel Edgerton. He's another one whose face is wrong, I know. And he's not much of an actor like Rupert Friend, though. And Andy, Grace Jones.
No, Grace Jones would have been absolutely fucking fierce as an Inquisitor.
She would.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine that?
She would scare the living shit out of me.
Plus, she'd have Slave to the Rhythm playing constantly in the background. Fucking hell, that'd be amazing.
She'd be driving a Renault Fuego around the desert from a giant Imperial head that comes out of the sand. And
swinging a saber overhead going, Kenobi!
She'd actually be really good casting, wouldn't she? This woman just looks
she'd be amazing.
She doesn't want to be there, you know?
See, we're even casting, if you're up north, better than the producers. Grace Jones, fucking awesome.
Yes. But, you know, again, we've got a lovely, gorgeous blue Tatooine sky. Nowhere to be seen in this picture.
Lost Gecko, are those tiny TIE fighters? They are, mate.
I think there's a lot of green screen there.
See, Melvin gets it. If Melvin says she'd be great, well, she would be.
Yes, I agree.
Fucking hell, she could really pull it off as well. She'd be fucking shit hot. Andy, she would be great, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm actually picturing her in my head.
Oh yeah, what movies has she been in? She was great in James Bond, wasn't she?
And that's it.
Was she in Conan as well? Was she in the Conan movie?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, I think so. She was great in that.
Peeps in the chat. Grace Jones, other than recording artist, what films has she been in? Help us out. Okay, so so we're all agreed Grace Jones would have been a great Inquisitor.
Yep, gets my vote.
Yeah.
What was she in? Boomerang, the 1998 version of The Avengers.
There you go, Conan.
She was in that, yeah. And not much else. Christmas at Pee Wee Herman's.
I will say everybody should check out Slave to the Rhythm album. It's a fantastic album.
You should check out the videos as well. They're even better.
Brilliant. Such a fucking great album. Okay, so what's happening here? Anybody know?
Yes. They've set up a local version of Risk.
Okay, right. Okay, so we'll move on from that one.
I imagine they're scanning for Jedi because that's a thing they can do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Set the scanners to Jedi. Bing!
Yeah, look, there's one.
That was quick. Yeah,
Yes.
it's Obi-Wan out in
More
the
sand.
posh Tatooine desert without a hat on.
Joseph, she was pretty good in Conan 2.
Mm-hmm. you think this is him out being out in the desert is going to bleach his hair so badly it turns white? Is that how we get from this?
I don't know.
It's
So
the famous Tatooine effect. It ages people very, very quickly.
Unless if they don't use sunblock. So Imperial probe droids, dangle them fucking keys. Here we go.
Remember the probe droids?
I remember Perv Dads. Oh yeah, I remember.
This looks
Okay.
like it's been ripped straight from Star Wars Underworld, which was the cancelled TV series before Disney
Yeah.
did Star Wars. Yeah,
Well, they would technically own it,
yeah.
so they can do whatever they want with it. Crime Watch, Tatooine style. Nick Ross,
Running
have you
straight
seen
white
this
male.
man? Time Prophet's here, everybody, making excuses. Hello, Time Prophet. So, okay, let's move on. He's looking very fresh-faced there, isn't he? Lots of kind of flashing lights going on. Some people, again, will be very happy.
That looks like Zuckus, doesn't it? Sorry, Forlom. Sorry, my mistake.
Forlom. Yeah.
Which is what?
The bounty hunter android.
From Empire Strikes Back,
All right, so this is another key jangling,
probably.
probably.
That's the only thing that it's just nostalgia bait, isn't it?
Nice laser, though. And it looks like he's fighting Obi.
Yeah, Obi-Wan using a blaster because it's
So uncivilized.
Time Prophet, why are all Star Wars planets on the beach?
Beach planet. Yeah.
So, don't know what this is.
I don't know. I'm not.
Fight.
I wasn't convinced by this action sequence in the trailer. It looks really.
Anybody care?
No, not really. You can't work out.
No, it's your boy Z.
Oh, is it?
Chloe.
No, is it?
Is that Uncle Owen?
No, that's Kenobi, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Can't tell.
Oh, is that just? Oh, that'll be a bad stuntman then.
His top? This guy's top on the left here looks like he's been lit through some blinds, like in Police Squad when they stand there and they're looking at it, and he turns away and he's just painted lines across him. I think.
Well, from this picture, it looks like somebody had painted the scenery behind him, and he's been leaning up against it. In one
And the stuntman doesn't look like Obi, like Ewan. Okay. So this is a big ship going to a big island thing. I've seen this before somewhere, haven't I?
Isn't this the Inquisitor's palace? Or is that on a different ocean planet?
I don't know.
I think.
Anybody in the chat, do they know what this is?
Because there's a Fallen Order link if it is, because in the Fallen Order game, you do go to an Inquisitor's palace, which is set mostly in the sea. So if that is where they're going, which is also where you bump into Darth Vader in the game, if that is where they're going, then maybe there is a link with that show as discussed earlier, sorry, with that game as we discussed earlier, which would be nice if they could write it properly, but they can't, so it won't be.
Yeah,
I don't like the view, but anyway, moving on. So, lightsaber action, Inquisitors, lots of troopers. Anybody any idea?
I think in the palace again, but I don't know where, why, for what reason, who she's lighting her saber against.
Yeah, good point. You should only have your lightsaber illuminated if you're going to fight somebody. So,
Joseph Porter, the Black Hole Disney film seems like a classic now. Never expected to get to that place. Yeah, classic Disney when everybody loved Disney.
Yeah.
On the only lighting your lightsabers when you're fighting people point, that is no longer true thanks to Solo, when Darth Maul appears at the end and just lights it for fan service and then he fucks off.
Yeah.
So we're having it's like a bit of a battle. There's a probe droid in the background. Jangle them keys. Stormtrooper. Laser flash. So I don't know what that's obviously a desert scene. So what is this?
Nebulous droid of some description.
Yeah, well, I think it's getting the shit blown out of it. It's not that robot that Landau was porking, is it?
No. That's
No, they're stuck in the Millennium Falcon, telling them how to hyperspace now.
Oh, okay.
Can't believe they did that.
No.
So lots of lasers and people getting terminated.
Yeah, it'll be a beautiful show, no doubt.
Here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. Is this the single-ended version?
At the moment. But she can, of course, light both. Do they show her flying with it in this trailer? Because that is one of the dumbest things I've seen in...
I don't know. I can't stop looking at the mini TIE fighters, though, at the top corner.
Perspective is not helpful in this scene, is
Mini TIE fighters.
They'd have to be a long way away to be that small.
I think she's got some mad skills. Time Prophet. Is this the diversity hire? Well, Time Prophet, if you'd have been here a little bit earlier instead of fucking about with your guitar, you would have heard what we were talking about. Much love for this actress on this stream. And this is Dead Mouse, isn't it?
This looks like one of the little robots from Batteries Not Included. With,
it does, yeah.
Mouse ears on it.
Or Dead Mouse doing a EDM.
It does, like
set.
pocket Dead Mouse. That's what he's been reduced to.
Fucking hell. Dead Mouse, if you see this, I'd put a claim against them.
So at least he's still alive a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay, so anybody any idea what this is? Is that going to be that same planet?
No, that's Dexter Jester's place. He's gonna be back. Yeah.
Lost Gecko.
Yeah, it just looks like it.
Right.
No, it's not a 1950s diner.
Cyber Mickey, apparently. Moving on. Time Prophet, I think Danger Mouse should claim too, yeah.
Basically, if you're a mouse, just try it.
I think Ridley Scott should do as well, Blade Runner ripoff.
To be fair, that also applies to Coruscant. So, yeah. At least the underworld.
Dark and mean, moody, can't fucking see it.
And Kathleen Kennedy's involvement was because she said she wanted it to be a bit more light-hearted, a bit more
light-hearted,
children-orientated.
Can't fucking see it.
Lends itself to a rather dark period in the timeline.
Children-orientated. She does realise that the movie directly preceding this had the guy they've got in this cutting up kids.
But it's a movie's about space wizards intended for children.
Andy Mouse, he is a mouse. Yeah, but think on though, Lucasfilm is Disney. And they're really into kids at the moment, aren't they?
Oh, there's another member berry in the background. There's a Rebel transport, if you can spot that.
No, it's too dark. I can't fucking see it.
No, not barely. It's all just greyness, isn't it? Pretty much.
I will say yes. Time Prophet. Rest in peace, Vangelis. Amazing composer.
Yeah, he was.
So here we go. This is the ultimate keys jangling for this TV series, I feel.
And
anybody want to explain what it is?
Yes, it's a build your own action figure. You collect each part over each of the other action figures you get.
D. Agostini Publications.
That's the one, yeah. Collect part 6 and you get the arm.
Each episode is what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here, guys. Each publication each month is £10.
Exactly.
To buy. Or $9.99.
3.5 years, you can own half a Darth Vader.
Of like £18,000.
Yeah.
You can have a 1/6 scale of the arm.
Yeah. And you're missing part 78, so you can't put it all together.
Vader's arm. And there you go. Whatever that is.
That Imperial officer is very fat.
Yep. completely.
we had fat stormtroopers the other day, didn't we? On something.
Brutally xenophobic galactic empire, very tolerant, however,
Yeah.
of the fat.
Very
So
body positive. Lost Gecko, yeah, they need to recoup the stock drop somehow. Wow. I think they'd need more than 100 editions of that magazine to get that, mate. So there's a black stormtrooper. Anybody know what that is?
I don't know. They're not death troopers, are they? I don't know what they are. They might be shadow troopers, but I don't know. I can't tell from that. A bit dark.
Dark troopers.
I don't know. No, they're robots, aren't
Diversity troopers.
they? Yeah, can't just have white ones on screen. Oh no.
Tick the boxes stormtroopers, perhaps. Again, 7 years ago, we'd have looked at this. Not a titter. Hold on. Lost Gecko, Phase 1. Phase 1 Dark Troopers.
Possible. It is possible.
didn't I thought though the Dark Troopers were basically in Phase 1 in either Mando or the Book of Boba Fett, because Moff Gideon has them on his ship, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but they're more primarily robots than they were cyborgs.
Night shift stormtroopers.
Are they night shift? The Commodores working on on the night shift? Moving on.
That sounds like a reference before my time.
I was going to say, obviously before your time, Lord, have you heard of World War II?
It's that guy with the moustache, I think.
It is, mate. It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I vaguely remember it.
Melvin Deeply. Interesting fact, Vangelis got sued by the guy who wrote "These Are My Mountains and This Is My Glen." It's the exact same tune as Chariots of Fire. Vangelis won, but he should have lost. I would imagine the lawyers will go on that.
Yeah, I can see how these are my mountains and this is... Yeah, I can see how that would work. So, right. Is that a vague sexual reference in the title of that song by any chance?
Possibly. I think we're approaching the end of the slides as well. So, ooh, look at that. Anybody who knows what that is? Aiden Christian?
Is it a voice synthesizer toy that they're going to be selling in shops about 2 weeks after the show airs?
Yes.
I don't know, but Vangelis is all Greek to Time Prophet.
Oh, you.
Even his console looks different.
It looks brand spanking new.
Yeah.
And somehow more dated than the original.
And there you go, member berries. See if there's any more slides. Oh, there we go.
Is Ewan McGregor regretting his decision?
You want to go home and rethink your life.
Says that to a mirror every morning.
My acting career is over.
Is this what I've been reduced to?
If you look at all the interviews as well, it's the girl, the Moses lady, she's at the front and center of everything, isn't she? Like the photograph. Oh. And that's it.
What a
We all know
climactic
how this
end.
is going to go. We
Badly.
just do. I mean, from the moment the first trailer dropped, it's you could just read every single episode of what's going to happen and where it's going to end up. Even before the leaks came out, you just knew that it's going to be a redemption arc of strong, empowered space Nazi who turns to the good, saves Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Empire. I think the telltale sign is when she goes to face Vader and, he sets upon her with a saber, and she lights hers up, and it's blue instead of red. And they go,
Oh.
"Oh, you're a
Oh,
good guy
my
now. Oh, it looks like you've been redeemed." Stab.
Well, yeah, they could have him stab her and kill her and write her off, but they could also make her win the fight, or at least fight him off long enough for her to escape, which would be the final nail, wouldn't it? Really?
I will just ask the chat, guys, are you going to be watching Obi-Wan?
I'll be watching it because I'm a sadomasochist.
Yeah,
Same.
'cause I think we're going to be doing a weekly review. I think with this one, we're going to be seeing how long we can last, because it was a drag doing Boba Fett, wasn't it?
Oh my god, yeah. What was the one where Ian got so depressed talking about it? Was that Boba Fett? It was, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
episode
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. He almost committed suicide live on air. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
keep him away from sharp objects. It was that sort of
Yeah.
episode. Wasn't
Yeah.
that the Mos Vespa one?
Oh,
Yeah, that
God.
was the one.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Time Profit, if it's free, yeah. Andy, taking one for the team. He'll be watching it.
I think there's only 7
Joseph,
episodes in this, aren't
Thumbs
there?
down.
I
So
think
it's not
yeah,
a
it's pretty
long
low.
one.
It's a pretty low number, yeah.
And 2 of those will be a Mandalorian tie-in.
Jonathan, only 8 watch like I do with Strange New Genders. A hate watch, yeah. I think
Mando
they've put,
turns up with Baby Yoda. Oh no!
Melvin
Episode side story.
wasn't
Completely
going
out of
to.
context.
Said I wouldn't, probably will. I know.
Just don't pay for it, mate. Don't pay for it.
It's
fine.
just that desperation that things will turn out good, but we know it's not going to be.
Do you know
Yeah.
those stories you used to make up with your mates when you were playing with action figures? This is what Disney Star Wars is.
No,
Yeah.
mine were all better than Disney Star
Oh,
Wars.
Yeah, our stories
that's
made
it,
more
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is the people going back and watching new Disney Star Wars stuff. It really is like the beaten spouse syndrome, isn't it? Where you just maybe they'll be different this time if I go back. They love me really.
No, they don't. This is
Yeah.
Disney
hate
Star
all
Wars.
of
Is,
us.
it's the
You know
Amber
what?
Heard of the franchise.
Oh,
isn't
you
Um,
beat me to it.
For the 7,000 people who are watching this right now, Disney hates every single one of you, and they hate every single one of us on the panel as
Oh,
well.
probably. Yeah, they love the
Yeah.
money, but they hate the people. Yeah.
Don't forget that, peeps. They hate you. They hate you with a passion.
And if I don't now, they certainly will when this show's released.
So I think on that bombshell, I think we will finish. As I said, we're going to be covering Kenobi. We'll see how long we last. I think with Boba Fett, the Mandalorian episodes, if they hadn't have dropped them, I think we'd have just dropped it like a hot potato. But we shall see. So, peeps in the chats, wonderful as always. As I always say, we would just be talking shit at each other, and you guys always, we love the interaction. So great to see you. It's truly my honor that you take, you go out of your way to spend some time with us. So thank you very much. I will thank the panel, Trans AM FM. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, Mr. Brown. It's always a good laugh. Sticking it to Star Wars and Disney, and having a great giggle with everyone here. Thank you to Z. Thanks to the Dark Evil Lord Cord and yourself, of course. It's been wonderful fun.
Yeah, it's just nice to chew the fat over gristle.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad gristle. Z, thank you.
You're very welcome. You know, every time one of these things comes about, you just think you've got such a rich and diverse IP. How can you fuck it up every single time? With the exception of the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars Season 7.
Fuck knows. I don't know. Lord Cord, thank you.
Thank you as always.
All I can say, boys, is we're in this together. We will get through it. I'm sure the other side is approaching. But anyway,
Death.
Don't forget, we are back tomorrow. We're going to be doing Lethal Weapon. I watched that today. Fucking hell, great film. Sunday, we'll be doing the Musings shit. As I said, we did the Disney stuff today because if we'd have done it Sunday, it'd have been a 17-hour stream. So I think that's it. Just remember, we are in this together. We will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.